It's been a long time since we've done like a really good will it start video, and those just so happen to be some of the videos that you guys like the very most. So today we're gonna step it up for you and hit you with a gnarly will it start video of this machine right behind me. This is a Pettibone Mulliken material handling wheel loader. According to the owner, this thing's been parked for probably 20 years, maybe more. We're gonna do our best and try to get it going, get it out of here. This one's been sitting so long that it literally has a tree growing up right between the cab and the bucket. So it appears to be mostly complete. All right, so we've got a Detroit 4-cylinder diesel motor, all of the components still in place, bunch of like loose wires and things like that. The reason why we're gonna try to start it is because it appears that it hasn't been torn apart as if somebody was trying to, you know, repair like a broken engine or something like that. So the odds of this thing started, I'd say probably at about 50-50 right now, but we're gonna do our best and try to get it going, to get it out of here. But I'll tell you what, we got a secret weapon here today. In fact, we got a couple secret weapons, but the main one that I'm thinking of right now is the wizard himself. That man knows everything there is to know about the machines that nobody else knows anything about. But since it's some wild piece of equipment from the 60s or 70s that Alan probably owned at one point, he's gonna look at this and probably just pick up right where he left off when he was working with this or a similar machine before. So
I thought you were talking about me.
I was talking about you too. Hans is our other secret weapon, because what he's gonna do is he's gonna,
Hey,
it'll be good to have Hans here, and he'll be a valuable member of the team.
Do you realize this was supercharged?
Yeah, all Detroit motors are.
Realize
that's one thing that's cool about this. The old Detroit engines, diesel engines, were 2-stroke, like your dirt bike or a chainsaw, and so in order to be able to have the power that they needed, they had to be supercharged. Guys, many of you may wonder why we play with this old equipment and why we're constantly fiddling around with it. The answer to that is I like to be frugal. I like to repurpose things, and I like to save money where I can, unlike some other people that I know. For example, Hans. That guy has terrible spending habits. I'm pretty sure I just saw him rolling around in a Halloween costume that he just purchased for the upcoming Halloween, even though we're still in August. Completely unnecessary, but you know, it's just the way his brain is programmed. But the problem with that is when it comes time to spend money on things that he actually needs, well, he's already spent it on stuff that he doesn't need. Current, the sponsor of today's video, is the product for you. Current focuses on providing digital banking services primarily through its mobile app. It's designed to cater to the needs of modern consumers and small businesses who prefer to manage their finances online rather than through traditional brick and mortar banks. What they do is they give you access to all these tools and resources to save your money, even build your credit, manage your money better now, but also they give you the tools to be able to have access to it in the future. It's not a line of credit. There's no like mandatory credit check or hidden fees or anything like that. When you sign up for a qualifying direct deposit program, you're gonna be able to get access to your paycheck like 2 days in advance, like up to $500 that can hit your account before you even get paid. You get a 4% bonus on your savings, and it's all like overdraft free, like none of those crazy fees or hidden surprises that come with traditional banking. Current really is like modern day banking. It's a change to the banking industry that has been needed for a very long time to be able to catch up to today's economy and the way things actually work now. So here's what you got to do. Click the link in my description below. It's going to take you to current.com/sparks50. Download the app, set up your direct deposit. You're going to have a chance to earn $50 right there. Don't be like Hans. Be responsible with your money. Thank you, Current, for sponsoring the video, and thank you, Hans, for providing us with entertainment with your terrible spending habits. It's a good purchase. Now the supercharger, believe it or not, isn't necessarily like adding a big turbocharger to a diesel engine where you're gonna get a ton of extra power. The supercharger is actually mandatory for this thing to be able to run, because the way that the 2-stroke runs, it has to have air constantly being forced into it. So without the supercharger, it probably wouldn't even start. So don't think the supercharger is gonna be a huge power adder, because it's not. But it is something that's critical to the operation of this motor, and it sounds really cool. I'm hoping this thing gets running just for the sound, because if you haven't heard of 2-stroke Detroit before, boy, are you in for a treat.
First item of business is make sure we got power to it, make sure it's got oil, make sure it's got some water. Try and give her a crank over and see what happens. Oh, and fuel. You got fuel.
Here's our update. We've got the machine to the point where I think we're ready to crank on it. Also, I've got great news. I found caramel apple pops at the local hardware store. Haven't had one of these since like 7th grade probably, so don't mind me as I chomp on that. But basically what we're doing is bypassing the fuel tank on the tractor because the cap was left off. I'll bet you there's legit animals living in there, so we're not gonna try to deal with that. We got a 5-gallon gas can right here with a fuel hose hooked to a fuel pump and a battery, and we're gonna run that straight to the injection pump so that we know we're getting fuel, because that's one of the biggest questions we have sometimes is, let's say we use the tank on the tractor. Well, maybe we get the tank to the point where we feel like it's comfortable and clean and decent. We still have all the old fuel lines going from that tank to the pump, and all that stuff over the years just gets brittle, gets clogged up, and just doesn't work. So outside of that, I think we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. Alan, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, got something. It's spinning the starter motor, but the solenoid's not pushing out.
Wow. That's really arcing right now.
Did you have it cranked before?
It was going clicka, 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 but not turning.
Why are we not getting any throw from that? Jeez. We got a fire. There we go. So I have to engage the solenoid first and then move over to the starter.
Hey, what if we mechanically, I just with a lever engage it while you, before you do that? Where's your pry bar? Where's your pry bar?
Alan's rebooted. So you're going to manually engage the solenoid?
Mm-hmm. So that we can send all the power straight to the motor and crank.
There.
There we go.
Okay, we have another possibility. You see these two big lugs? If you short those two lugs together, it sends power directly to the motor. So we need a big piece of metal to short that while I push on this.
Both of these guys are connected to the ground.
Now I'm starting to wonder about this. Maybe that red wire should not go there. Oh, that's my fault.
Oh, Alan.
Are you sure that's supposed to, this is power? Yeah,
That's
right, that is
power. And I hooked the ground right to that. So red is ground and black is positive. We just got to remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I needed to hook it to this bolt here.
And this is supposed to be ground.
No, that's hot. That's hot.
That's power.
Power, then to power there. So that's my fault.
What we're working with here is actually very basic and simple. The problem is, since it's so old and there's no identification for what goes where, we're just having to guess what's power and what's ground, which you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. We literally just burnt the top of the battery off, which is good and bad. Not ideal to waste a battery like that, but at least we didn't fry anything else that we know of yet. So Alan has to reconfigure the way he has the power on the ground hooked up to the starter, and then we got to get a new battery in there because, as you can see, these batteries were pulling a lot of amperage, so much so that it literally just completely melted that whole terminal off, which is just cast aluminum, so it doesn't take much to completely destroy those. So that battery is now toast because there are no other terminals. I forgot how much these things stick to your teeth. Are you just stuck to your tooth part yet?
That way.
Alright, now we're spinning, so you engage it, we should be good. Alright.
Whoa.
It makes all the connections for us right there.
Yeah.
Fuel pump should be running. We're not getting any fuel. Right to the main linkage. All right, so the way these Detroits work, right here, you've got the fuel shutoff manifold. So basically,
Wow, it's pretty clean.
yeah, not bad.
You see it moving anything?
Yeah, it's moving
But something else should be moving.
this contactor.
Is this stuck?
I think these two are supposed to be separated actually. And they might be pressed together from time being shut. There's two little springs. So if I can keep those two separate, I think making contact between those two might be where the shutoff
You
happens.
see this right here?
Yeah.
This is a pressure control. If it doesn't get enough pressure, it won't activate something.
Hey, why are we whispering?
Because you want to be very quiet.
Is that a secret? Did you just tell us a secret?
Hey,
Right here.
tell me when.
You have more starter for it?
It's supposed to be shut off. That might be it right there.
That's your shut off.
This might do it right here if I just prop up on that. I got oil all over me. That's a good and a bad sign. It's a good sign because it means the machine has oil and it's rotating enough to spray oil. It's a bad thing because it means we had to open the valve cover to get to the injectors. These two-stroke Detroits are super finicky. Basically, the fuel injectors are underneath the valve cover, and then they have basically a valve rocker assembly that goes across the top of them and pushes the top plungers, which then distributes fuel. Two of the injectors are working the way that they're supposed to because they're sitting right at the top of their sleeves where the valve pushes on them. The two front ones are, the entire injector body is slid down about 1/2 inch. So that means that the valve on the top, the rocker arm, as it's trying to hit the plunger, it's basically just barely tapping the top of it, and that's not enough to open it to get fuel in because the injector slid down. So we need to take that top valve train apart, slide the injectors back up to where they go, and then that way that rocker arm will be able to hit the plunger and get fuel. So basically what's happening right now is we're getting fuel. The engine's running on 2 cylinders out of 4. And that's not quite enough for this engine to run because it relies on, you know, all that inertia of the other pistons pushing and doing their job. So getting black smoke out the exhaust is a good sign because that means we are getting fuel. I still don't think we have the correct fuel pressure. So it's getting late today. We're gonna call it a day, come back tomorrow and pull that whole rocker arm assembly off so we can get those 2 stuck injectors out. That'll be it for today. Tomorrow we'll be back here, get some injectors in it, and I think we'll have this bad girl running.
What up, player? Day 2. Here we go. Before we completely take apart the injectors and the fuel lines and be able to get the injectors, what we're going to do is hook up Alan's new high pressure fuel pump to try and knock them loose.
And now we just need to crank it.
All right, so good news, guys. We got a 2-for-1 for you today. In this Will It Start video, obviously we've been working on the loader and we came to the point where we basically need to replace the injectors, and we're still trying to decide what we want to do with that because the machine may not be worth what the injectors cost. So what we've decided to do is let that project simmer for a moment while we think about it and come down here and do another Will It Start. This is a Kenworth 8,000 gallon fuel tanker. I believe they were originally built for the Air Force, so it's like a government surplus vehicle. And my friend Marcus down here at Mountain West Helicopters hit me up a while back and said, hey, I got this fuel truck. The plan is to get it started, see how it runs. It's been sitting here for a couple of years, should just need batteries, fuel, starting fluid, just fluids and stuff. Run if it starts up and we're able to get it moving, then we'll load it onto the lowboy and haul it back to the shop.
So right now we're going to hook up the service truck to give it a little bit more kick to the power, or to those batteries, see if we can power it to turn the motor over, because right now we're just getting that dreaded click sound, which means either we're not getting enough power or this motor's locked up, and I refuse to believe that.
Not a great sign.
Let's see if we can rotate the crank. That's next. Try it now.
There we go. Let's just count a little bit.
Now.
Oh, there we go.
Hold it.
That was a good
Try it again. Again. Again.
So this is what happens when a old diesel engine sits for too long. They tend to get locked up. Usually it doesn't just happen on its own. Usually moisture gets in there, or maybe there were some mechanical issues when it was parked. what we found a lot of is a lot of these old vehicles and equipment have bad head gaskets, and the owner's still operating them, and then they see that it's not running well, so they usually park it, and then without fixing the problem, the coolant trickles down into the cylinders and it hydro-locks the motor. So where there's supposed to be air, you get water instead and coolant, and that water's not compressible, so basically it just completely locks up the motor. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but
I have no good way to pry on that side. Let me try something here.
that is awesome. That is so rare that it actually works like that. Inside those cylinders, you got a little bit of rust, and the rust essentially just locked the piston rings to the cylinder walls, but luckily it didn't get enough rust in there to be able to completely lock it up. So with a little bit of strength and manhandling from Dave and Alan here, they basically kind of broke those cylinders free just enough to let the starter do its job. So now we're getting a good crank, which means now we're time for some starting fluid, make sure we got fuel, and big girl should fire right up. This tank right here, we can put the air hose in there, cap it, and then pressurize it, and that'll take all of the fuel that's in this tank, however much there's in there, and it'll push it down and in through the lines, and that'll prime the whole system. Once the system's primed, then the main pump can suck the fuel from there with no problems. But until we do that, while there's still air in the lines, the pump won't be able to suck air because it'll just sit there and create bubbles rather than pulling the fluid like we need it to. So we're gonna start the air compressor, pressurize the pump, start it again, see what happens. I got a feeling that this is probably gonna do it. On it first. Okay, here we go. That's awesome. I love that. That's a good running motor. It sounds really good. I still don't know what motor it is. They thought it was a Detroit, but definitely not a Detroit. Pretty sure it's a Cummins. All right, so basically what's happening is we've got really old fuel in here. We don't know how old it is. It smells kind of like old paint. So that's basically probably what's gumming up the motor still. So we're gonna push all that stuff out, refill the filter. We also have this weird little pinhole in the side of the filter, so it's leaking, which is also a place where we could be losing prime potentially. So I got some rescue tape. I'm gonna just try to cap this off, clean it up a little bit. My friends, there you have it. 2 wheel starts. One kind of started, the other one started, and there was enough to load on the trailer. So these are 2 just treasured relics from the past. The loader, like I said, there's a good chance it's just scrap, which is fine. This truck is worth some serious money to the right operator, somebody who's gonna park it somewhere and use it, because all the fuel pumping components on it are high end. It's got a big single point fuel system that can pump like a couple 100 gallons a minute or something. It's crazy. It'll pump a lot of fuel really fast. That's a win right there. I don't know if we'll keep it, fix it, sell it. Figure that out when we get back to the shop, but we're loaded up and ready to get out of here. So see you on the next one.